good.
There we go. Oh my gosh, this reminds me of our old times back at Perfect World, making our monthly podcast for our people. And it's incredible. Okay, so yes, I'm actually so excited to be able to sit here with you, Jason, because it feels like it's been a couple of years since we worked together now, and I miss that sort of energy and vibe of being able to talk with you about just the media, the movies, the games, and now we're able to just not even worry about the company we work for or worry about some corporate policy. We're able to just kind of have a conversation with each other and just talk about things like people used to. They just sit and have dialogue. There's no AI chatbots. There's no artificial intelligence and things like that. So, this is episode, I would say 000.
Mm-hmm.
I put 3 zeros because I expect to do hundreds of these episodes. Okay, that's just me. Well into my 50s. I'm 40 now, and I'm Jack.
I'm Jack, and I'm Jason, and thank you so much for having me. And like you said, it's just been a blast. And yeah, I do miss talking about, and now we can talk about anything. We're just uncensored, and what I love is different perspectives. Like, you live a very different lifestyle than I do, and it's kind of converged, and it's great catching up and talking about like what's going on in your life, what's going on in my life, and just reconnecting.
So that's actually one great point that you talk about, and it's a great for our introduction, is that our lives are structured pretty differently. I mean, just growing up is different. I think even today it's very different. So I'll start off. I grew up in the entire Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. I was born here in California, raised here, went to school, post high school here in Berkeley, and just all my life, 40 years of life. I'm one of those old school people that I can get around without GPS. Like, if you took out maps or whatever, I can drive around the entire Bay Area and not get lost. That's how well versed I am in the area. And I believe, Jason, you were not the same.
No, I was not
whatsoever.
So, I was actually born in Taiwan. I'm adopted. So I lived in Singapore. Both my parents are Caucasian, so it was very easy to pick them out in a crowd, like in Asia. It's very tall.
How many years were you in Singapore?
Ooh, I think I was there from like kindergarten all the way to high school. So
my gosh. I visited Singapore over actually in October. So over the summer. It was part of my Indonesia trip, and just incredible.
Also, when you went to Singapore, it's probably like changed completely from when I grew up. And I remember when I went to Singapore from Taiwan, like, Singapore was relatively unknown, a small kind of island nation. And now, it's a huge
Not to date you, but that was, what did you say, at least 30 years ago?
Yeah, at least.
90s?
And now everyone knows about Singapore, and it's a big thing. And I remember when the movie Crazy Rich Asians came out, and it's in Singapore, and I was like, ooh, I mean, out of the three things, I mean, I am Asian, but I mean, I don't think I'm not rich or anything, but so it's like, I remember when that movie came out, and it's like, really, Singapore was already on the map, but that really, in pop culture, put Singapore on the map. So yeah, I grew up in Singapore, came out for university, went to a university called Denison University in Ohio.
You're Taiwan, Singapore, and then now you just said Ohio.
Ohio, yes. So
okay, wow.
Yeah, Ohio, small liberal arts college, Denison University. My dad went there. My sister also went there as well.
Is it Denison with a T?
Denison with a D. Denison, yeah. And then when I graduated Denison, a lot of people in Ohio, we go to Chicago. So I was in Chicago for a year with my roommate, my friend from college.
Ohio to Chicago.
Chicago, very close. And then my dad was like, hey, where his work, moving back to the Bay Area, the company he worked for was based in Foster City. So he came out, and then I was like, heck, pack my bags, I'm going to California. And then I came to, Foster City, San Mateo. And I was like, it's cold, because
Chicago's cold.
Chicago's cold, but I'm thinking like my perspective is 90210, like what I watch on TV, Baywatch, and I was like, man, this is cold. But yeah, it's totally like so like San Francisco weather. But you know, I love it out here. You know, I met you out here working at Perfect World and a lot of video game companies out here as well. So actually, so that's my start. And you know, we have common things of like we talk about movies, we talk about video games. But you've gotten really into like surfing.
Yeah. So for me, similar. I grew up, but the things, my eras, as Taylor Swift has called it, her eras, it's my eras. So I'd say, like my first 2 decades of life was really just exploring, finding, and learning. I would say, you know, years 1 to 20 was very sheltered.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, and living in America, if you grew up in a suburb, it is super sheltered. It's cookie cutter. You're gonna get the McDonald's, the Chili's, the Applebee's, all the franchise, the big operators, the big national-wide brands. So then when I was able to kind of branch out, my 20s to 30s was really when I, started to learn about the culture, starting to get influenced, starting to find myself. And then the 30s to 40s was also when I started a Perfect World. And that was my video game peak, Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, Magic the Gathering.
It was big. We played it at work, and like 100% just lean into the geek side of things. And then I would call it like my midlife. My 37 was when it really turned into, now I found what I want to do for the rest of my life, which is surfing. Surfing has now completely taken over everything I do. Like, it is the way I frame the rest of my life. Everything goes through that. And it's not just that, but our backgrounds, Jason, are right now where we are. It's completely different. Like right now, I live in an apartment with my wife and 2 dogs. You live in a house with your wife, a dog.
It's very lucky.
And 2 kids.
2 kids. So yeah, totally different. So I joke with my wife because when we first met, I would say we were around the same physical size, but then you got into surfing, you got into like gym, working out, and then your clothes started not fitting. So you're like, Jason, do you want like my marine layer sweater? And me being Asian was totally, yes, I want those sweaters. So I joke with my wife, I go, we're like a before and after of an Ozempic commercial. Like I'm like the before and you're the, but like, yeah, we're both married, but like you went very, like a lot of people when you get married, you know, you get comfortable, you gain some weight.
Dude,
and you're like the total opposite.
You're being real about it. So most people would the people I work with, the people I see in my circle, because I'm 40, going into 40s, you can see it. And one of the biggest things, and I hope you can take away from us just being in more constant contact, is just invest in your health. Whatever that means, like either just start off small, like get active. If you have a chance to pick different foods to eat or whatever, pick the better option. Things like that, start small. And then the biggest thing for someone in your position that I find what motivates people like you are their children. Like you want to be there for your children.
No, absolutely.
You want to be active and being able. You want to be able to take care of them as long as you can and not have to rely. Well, at least I think you shouldn't have to rely on them to take care of you later on in your golden years. And that's like the biggest motivator. And for me, I don't have kids. I don't plan to. So I'm like, I got to. I have to make sure I can.
No, that makes a lot of sense because, like for me, like having kids, because kids isn't for everyone, obviously, but when you have kids, in terms of gaming, that's when you become the main character to like secondary character. Like my kids become the main character in my life.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm just like the NPC. Like I just need to be around to give quests and to support.
That's like the best. That's so eloquent. Like that is definitely a nugget right there. I love how you put it. Like, yeah, you no longer are the single player driving the narrative. You are now that NPC. You have become the mentor character to someone else's story. Wow.
Absolutely. And my kids are so active. My son got into running, so he's in a running club.
Awesome.
And he did a 5K, and he's used to running. He runs like, he's in running club. He was like twice a week running, like 3-4 miles. And and just this November we did my first 5K. I did not train at all for this, and he wanted me to do this.
Okay, so you still remember your time, right?
Yes, I do. Okay, I also remember 5K. My son's time.
Okay. Let me guess then. Okay. 5K untrained.
Untrained.
I'd say it took you about 45 minutes. And then it took your son probably about 23 minutes.
Oh, my son took 22 minutes.
Oh, he's right on the mark. He's right on the mark.
But I took 52 minutes.
Now you guys are actually right there. Yeah. So I tell you, so why I kind of know those numbers, because there's a scale of health evaluation of different things as part of my certified personal trainer education. Those are some benchmarks that you want to try to hit at certain ages. So usually you don't want children, I don't know how old he is, but to push too much until they're fully developed if they're training. But he's right where he needs to be.
Okay, that's good to know.
And right where you are the average American.
I'm the average.
You are the average American right now, but you can do better.
No, absolutely.
You can probably run as fast as him if you trained. So use that as a possible motivation.
Yeah, I'll definitely next time, because it was very eye-opening, because we were like stretching in the very beginning, and then I was like, whew, okay, I'm done. We're done. And it's like, no, we still have to run a 5K. So it was very eye-opening. And man, some of the people who run 5Ks, hats off to them. I know when I was like running / walking, I was passed by like kids with moms with kids in strollers.
Yeah, that's the sad part. They're just pushing a stroller and they can go pretty fast. Yeah. I don't know if actually the stroller helps them because they can lean forward and they're just leaning on it. But yeah, you'll see them on pretty casual 5Ks. You'll see a bunch of those people and just random people carrying stuff. You see all sorts
people
of stuff.
Like running in costumes. I was like, oof, like, good on you though. If you can do it, good on you.
Yeah. So what we're doing here is a little bit of what I talked about at the very beginning. Is just we're two different enough people, but still have an open-mindedness to connect, to have dialogue, to talk about things that are happening kind of in our lives. And if we're able to share knowledge, wisdom, help each other see things in a different way, then that's all it really comes down to, is just sharing that knowledge, because I believe we are missing so much of that. We take it for granted that nowadays we can search for it, we can Google it, but coming to knowledge yourself, like firsthand, and learning something, it sticks to you. You don't take it for granted. And I know when I look at you, I don't just Jason is as a means to an end. I think of you as, we're actually like accomplishing something together. Sometimes there may be a result, sometimes there may not be a result, but the fact that we're able to have a conversation and connect, even though we have different parts, we're different walks of life,
different backgrounds,
is what makes it incredible. And I will I'm going into this with the open-mindedness of, if you're going to teach me things as well, you're going to give me insight on things that I'm not aware of. And I think a great way to kind of put that out for anybody that picks up and listens to this is like, a lot of times, and especially this is 2025, it's a very, very politically charged atmosphere, economics, everything's all tied together. There may be things that Jason knows that I don't know from his perspective as a family, as a provider, versus I'm just like, I have no family. I don't have 2 kids running around. My perspective on things could be different. But being able to come together in an open environment to share that insight and perspective, so that we can better ourselves, that we can better understand each other, and not just each other, but through each other, we can understand more of the world that we live in.
Yeah, absolutely. And, even viewers, if people comment on this video and whatnot, can maybe bring up things that maybe we don't even think about, and then we can discuss in future like shows and just discuss. And I think being open and dialogue and coming up with different ideas or seeing things differently, even if you don't agree, you can still empathize. I think that's super important. You can, you can see both sides of the fence, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not trying to argue a point or try to be right. That's not the point of this. I'm not trying to convert you to something, but it's being able to extend a bridge, to build a part of the bridge and say, I want to learn, I want to understand, and have an open mind on something that I'm not an expert on. And then if I'm an expert on, I will say, hey, I know this a little bit better, but I'm not going to come at you or anybody that says, hey, just because I know more, I'm better than you. And that's where it's like, we can't have that mentality of I'm better than one another, because it's one of the things I learned while going through surfing is just like, you might have a great day or you think you're on top of the world, and the next wave comes in and wipes you out, and you're like, oh, I'm like I don't know what I'm doing or something like the very next moment. So
wow,
really,
that's interesting. Yeah, like Mother Nature can be very humbling.
Yep. It's the one thing that keeps me in check a lot is, as great as you think you are, as I've spent 3 years, and you know what? There's people who spent more years surfing, and they still every day are like, they don't ever think they're the best.
Yeah.
So I never think I'm the best. In fact, it's like, I know I'm not the best, and it's better to approach things that way.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, always trying to improve yourself, always be learning and open to learning. You know, I learn things through my kids, through you, through just other people online, and you know, I think that's super important, because to get different perspective and be open to learning. Otherwise, if you close yourself off, you're really stunting your own growth.
Yeah, totally. So I'm glad you're on board with this journey of mine. I threw this idea out there, but I didn't want to just be a talking head by myself and just talk to the camera. I feel like having dialogue and having someone there makes it more dynamic and much more interesting, even for me as a person that's talking. And then, you know, we came up with the idea. You actually pitched a bunch of titles and names for this podcast that we are starting, and we call it Tell the Last Sip. And there's kind of a reason why. You know, first it ties into, you know, I'm sharing a drink with somebody, and just sitting there like at a coffee shop or just over dinner. You know, people have a glass of wine or whatever it is, or coffee, and just being able to sit there and enjoy each other's company. And then why it's Tell the Last Sip is because it's kind of like the final thoughts or last sip of our drink. And that's why we ended up, we pitched a bunch of names, and then this one kind of stuck. Just clicked. And really, we don't want to take all the entire day. We just want to make it feel like you just walked into a coffee shop, met a friend, have a conversation, and then we went on with our lives and continue on with other things. So it's like a quick coffee chat, but it allows us to sync up to just have those little moments together. And that's why it's the last sip. It's not the infinite cup of coffee that goes on forever and drags on. So
short micro podcast where we can talk about current events or what's going on in each other's lives, and obviously we want to be cognizant of our time as well as the viewers' time, so we can make it very short and sweet. And
like the time it takes you to finish a cup of coffee with a friend.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah. So that's kind of what we're hoping to do, and this is episode 000 because this will be our like pilot episode.
We'll test it out
and really help get our footing. And of course, it's very amateurish kind of put together, but we wanted to do something, create some value, create something, and put it out there, and maybe it'll gain traction, maybe not. But I just find it incredibly rewarding just to sit next to you, Jason, in person and just have a conversation. That's really all I need to take. All I'm really care for is just having that moment with you.
No, absolutely. And thank you for having me and for coming up with this idea. And hopefully the viewers, thank you for joining our journey. And, if you're new, or if you're viewing this in the future, hopefully there's many more to come and we can have some good conversations.
Completely. So to the last sip today, my drink is jasmine green tea. And I no creamer or sugar. It's just tea, and keeps me just enough caffeine, but not too much to keep me wired, and yeah, one of my favorite drinks.
Great. I'm like the polar opposite. I'm actually drinking Ribena.
What is that?
Yeah, Ribena is like a blackcurrant drink. Usually, I think it's from the UK or Australia, but like if you are from
I will look that
Asia or Europe, you probably know what Ribena is. It's like a concentrate that you mix with water.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It's like hot or cold?
You can drink it. Usually, you drink it cold. So you drink it cold. So it's like, it's kind of like any concentrate. Like think of like Tang, but it's like a grape, like blackcurrant.
So it was powder.
No, it comes in like a concentrate, a liquid concentrate, like a bottle. So if you go to any like Indian market or your UK kind of supermarket, you'll see it in the concentrate, and you add a little, and then you dilute it and you mix it. But the reason I drink it a lot, especially in the winter, is it's high in vitamin C. And, when you have kids, they're touching everything, they're putting it in their mouths. So, as a parent, you're constantly like trying not to get sick.
Have you gotten sick this season?
I've gotten sick. So my wife is a trooper. When she gets sick, she is able to just go about her day and just suck it up. When I get sick, I'm like out for like a week on the couch, on the bed, like can't move. Like I'm basically useless as a person. So, but when my kids get sick, they get sick for like a day, maybe even like an hour, and then they're like fine, and then they get us sick, and I'm like out for like a week. So that's why I try to drink lots of Ribena. So, I'm sure other parents can empathize, and if you're a new parent, that's something you gotta just stay healthy. Just stay healthy.
We'll leave on that note. Is I'm not a parent, and I didn't get COVID. I don't get sick because I just don't have kids to rub their germs all over me. And it's something I learned when I was working as a summer camp counselor. Is just don't touch their shoes, don't touch the kids. Just don't touch them if you can, and stay. And generally, you're okay. If you just don't touch them, don't give them hugs, don't do anything. It's just like they won't get you sick, and you won't get them sick, and you just stay away.
That's a pro tip. Don't touch your kids. Pro tip.
Well, here's the thing. Like if most of the time you see your friends, they have a newborn and they have kids.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, they give you a high five, or they want you to hold their baby, or you. I'm like, nope. I just put my arm straight up and said, don't even come close to me. Don't even stay away. And
you were 6 feet away before COVID even happened.
Yeah, I'm like, don't kids. No, I'm all right. So that's one of the. I would say that's one of my quirks. Is like until they're able to take care of themselves, and they can wash their hands properly all the time. Like just don't touch me. I'm all right. I don't need you to be close to me. But that has always been my thing. Yeah, I know kids are just full of germs. They can handle it, like you said. They can recover in a day. But adults, we have a whole different microbiology or whatever it is, and it's completely different. But yeah, that's great. Now I learned. I thought it was just going to be water in there.
Oh,
honestly, I thought it was just going to be water. But yes, looking forward to recording more episodes with you, Jason. And again, thank you for kicking this podcast, Tell the Last Sip.
Yeah.
And again,
perfect.
Cheers.
Cheers. And thank you for having me, and thank you for joining.
Yep.